It is May 17th, 2016. I'm Mike Callahan. This is the Watchman News. We're going to begin another episode of No Holds Barred with Kathy Rubio. Let me get her called in real quick.
Hello.
Hello.
I was talking with Rick, and he's saying he's having trouble with his Skype, so we have to call him.
Alrighty. I assume he's ready. I was talking to him a little bit too, so.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
I heard the Skype going back and forth.
Yep. I'll go ahead and bring him on in. I've got his website up on the screen, and that, by the way, folks, is Rick Wells, RickWells.us. And I'll bring him on in.
Well, in the meantime, guys, I hope you had a good weekend. It was pretty nice weather here, I thought. Everybody else wants it warmer, but I like it a little cool. So, tomorrow is supposed to be really nice here, and I'm sure that everybody's going to want to get out. And that'll be one of our nicest days in some time now. We've been having frost and frost warnings at night in Minnesota, so it's been an interesting time because everybody got their gardens in.
I seen him drop off. Let me try bringing him in again.
Okay. He's having a problem there. Anyway, I brought up his Facebook page because I'm just going to go. I just wanted to pick things that were really interesting here that he's posting. Did we get him?
No. At that time it said busy. I'm waiting for his face to disappear off the Skype, and I'll try it again. He was saying something about having an issue logging into a different computer.
Oh. Yeah, because he's not showing up on my Skype at all.
Oh, wow. Yeah, he shows up on mine as being online and stuff, so. Yep,
I don't even see him listed on my Skype, and I know I had him.
Wow.
Well, while we're waiting for that, I'll give you guys a little report on Mike Emery. I talked with his wife last night and with Vicky, and they went to court yesterday. And there were some people that had already sent in character references for him, saying they knew that he wasn't going to try to escape and run anywhere. And so then they didn't know what to do because they had all those character references. They really don't want to let him go. So they made up another excuse, and they said they had to see where he lived first. And is his living conditions conducive to letting him free while he's waiting on court? And so knowing that he's living in a motorhome probably is not going to be conducive. So I think that I didn't write my letter yet because I didn't have access to a fax machine, and I had my surgery today, but I will get my letter off tomorrow. I'll find a fax machine, and the more people that write as to his character, the better it is. So they gave me this number last night. Now, where did I put it? That's the other thing. Let's see here. I don't know. I was writing so many things last night. Let me see here. Yep, here it is. 541-343-0014. And he faxed that to Lisa, which is one of his lawyers. And then that'll help them when they go back into court. And I don't think he goes back into court again until next week, if I'm after they've made their visit to his motorhome. And they might have to actually move back to Idaho where they can find a permanent address for a while. But I hope not, because Becky really wants to keep going and keep the newspaper going that they started, and keep the groups going that they started. And
Hello?
hello, is that Rick? Hello.
Kathy?
Hi, there you
How'd that
are.
happen? Hi.
I don't know, but there you are. Oh no, what's that noise, Mike?
I don't know.
Do you have something running there? Rick?
Is he shaving the microphone?
You better the government interference.
That is weird.
It does sound like almost like a fan in the background, if maybe his computer fan.
I don't know. I know his where his name was just spinning.
Huh.
It's trying to get the call back now. Skype is, I guess, automatically doing that.
Yeah, it does. Well, anyway, so I want to keep working with Becky. She went full speed ahead since the time they picked him up. She didn't have any time to really think about things or relax, because she had to get a computer. She had to get all these things done. And I guess the other night when we did our radio show calling out for a computer, whoever was listening in Oregon, and I hope you're listening right now, they handed her a laptop, and it's an older one, and so she got to get some memory in it. And she's at least, it's a little slow, but once she gets the memory in, I think it'll be all right. And so she's got that part solved, and then somebody handed her an old phone that doesn't do anything. And so she's having a hard time with that. So when I called her last night, I was suggesting that she use something like Net Zero, where they have a plug-in that just goes, a flash drive just goes into your computer. You have internet wherever you're at, or you can plug that into your phone device too. Then I was talking with Mike earlier today, because I have a brand new notebook here, and I didn't know if you could use that as a telephone or not, but we did figure out a way for her to do that. So I'm going to mail that out to her, and she can use that as an Android phone, which might help her at least with the internet thing. And I don't know what else I can do on my side to help her, because they have so many needs at this time. I didn't know. I said, I know you need to make your rent payment in the campgrounds where you're at, and I know you have gas expenses and food expenses and other expenses. Do you want me to send you my money, or do you want me to send it to Mike? I know he has problems as well. And she said, I do have all those expenses, but I want you to send it to Mike, because he's down to his last $20 for the commissary. So I got an address to send that to, and I'll get that off tomorrow as well. And for any of you guys out there that got any ideas for communication for her, we need to work on that and keep her going, because she wants to keep that newspaper going for him and keep those groups going. And that's, of course, what the government wanted to stop in the first place, especially the Oregonian. So any ideas, just let me know, because communication is one of my weak points. It doesn't. I just have to depend on everybody else to tell me how I can work it all out.
Well, unfortunately, a lot of the data packages are so limited that you can't do a whole lot with them. You know, they're fine for checking email. They're fine for if you wanted to, work on a website as long as you didn't have to upload or download a lot, But yeah, unfortunately, a lot of them, that's why you got to really check. There are some out there that do offer unlimited plans for reasonable. And what they do is they got like a limit, so many gigs, or usually it's like 2 gigs or whatever, and then they cut you down. You can still, upload and download. It's just at a slower speed.
Yeah. The other thing is that I had sent you over, and I don't know if you played it or not, the last report coming from Pete Santilli. And him and Dave Bundy went to court. And Pete was really excited the day before because Ammon Bundy and all of them have been working and finding some laws that were really going to work for them. They believed it was going to help them get out, and it should have, these laws that they found. But they don't want them out, these guys. And so they went to court today, and they were denied again. I think, myself, the only thing that's going to force the issue and get them out of there is some heavy protesting. And I do mean lots and lots of people.
Yep.
Whether you're protesting in your own states or you're protesting in Oregon. But this has to be done, and it should all be done on the same day so they understand the force of the people. We're sick of this. These are political prisoners that never should have been prisoners. And they've suffered enough. I mean, they're going without food. They're going without medical care. They're being mistreated horribly in there. And I want to tell you, I had concerns, and now I'm even more concerned for these guys. Because remember, I asked you guys last week, what does anybody know about that group, Cows? And it seems to me that when you have a group that large of senators and people within the government that have clout, that you should be able to get something done here. Not just go visit for 2 hours and then tell everybody how good you are. You are lawyers. Every one of them are lawyers. They know what they can do to help all of these people. And yet nothing is being done. So I did a little checking to find out that who was supporting the Cows group. And to my total amazement, which I shouldn't be surprised at anything anymore, to my total amazement, I found out that the Koch brothers are supporting Cows. That's where they're getting their money from. Well, the Koch brothers are helping the Chinese to come in here and buy up all that rancher land. That's who's supporting the Chinese. Got to follow the money, always follow the money. I just can't tell you how much that works.
So they're just basically providing them funds for giving lip service, more or less.
Yeah, they're making them look like they're helping. But see, I got to go back to the night when Clive and Bundy, and you know, they're acting like all the hope. These guys in jail are putting hope in that group. And that group is a lie. And so I just really don't know. I know it's going to take the people. It's us that have to do this. And so I hope, with all my heart, I hope that people will start to organize and start to put together these protests. Because they are not going to get anything done through the Cows group either.
Nope. And like I was saying earlier, and I've said it I don't know how many times, they will keep on and on and on until we stop them. I mean, it's that simple.
Yeah. Yeah.
If we don't do anything, well, they're just going to keep on and on. Well, I know you shared the video. I played it earlier about the poultry workers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that something?
Yeah. And like I was saying, it's been 2-3 years ago, but I knew somebody that worked for Domino's. They took out the microwave, they took out the refrigerator, the little stool and table that was there for them to eat. And it used to be law that they had to provide that. And apparently that law has been taken away. Nobody even knew that law was taken away. But workers have no rights anymore.
Yep. And see, we let that go too. We let that go because all those workers, if you looked at all of them, they were all immigrants. Well, I might tell you something about immigrants today that I learned in my research. God help us all. When I was on the Dave Hodges Show Sunday, I was reporting on all the different soldiers that were there that I saw in Honduras that were being trained to come up these borders. Now, and Dave asked me that day, because I said there were Iranian soldiers there, he said, Iran? And I said, yep. And today a report came out, and the Iranian soldiers are coming up through South America, making their way up, hauling drugs into Honduras. In Honduras, they're making their way up the border to Mexico, and they're joining with the cartel. So you have two of our worst enemies joining with the cartel. And they're coming right into our borders. They're going to get us from within, just like I said Sunday. Everything is in place. And who's funding all of that? That's something I got to check on yet. Where's the money coming from for all of this? And do we think that we're going to go much longer with Venezuela's people and Brazil's people not coming up our borders? They're going to join with those cartels because they blame us for everything that's going on in their countries. And we probably are pretty much guilty. Not you and me, but our government. So our enemies are coming in by the droves. And what are we going to do? Are we able to get Rick yet?
I'm showing him back offline now.
Uh-oh. Okay. Well, that's the problem when you're bringing them in from another country. Yeah, so what are we going to do when all of these are coming across our borders? This is really getting to be real. And something that we can't be fooling around with anymore. Do I believe that Trump is the answer to this? No. I believe God is the answer to this. And the only answer. This is God's war. And He expects us to fight this war in the Spirit. That's where it has to be fought, on our knees. And if we don't start fighting as a team, as a group, as one, I don't think that we're going to... I got an echo out there. Somebody is saying I'm echoing.
Oh,
I don't hear it here.
Yeah, I don't hear it either.
So would that be our equipment then, or that person's equipment?
I think it's theirs, because anything that I hear is what's going out.
Yeah. Well, and now I'm looking at our fret. I can't really see too good tonight, guys.
It's flat.
With an R?
With an L.
Our fret.
Yeah,
Flat.
R and then flat. Yep.
Oh, flat. Okay, I'm sorry. What he's bringing up there is another good thing. that will take us to another subject, which is on the 29th. Is that Memorial Day? Or the 28th?
I'm not sure.
I found the list today, and I was telling Mike that always every year that I'm on the radio, I try to find the list of the dead, and we spend the day honoring the dead by reading their names and how they died, where they died, what rank they were. And I did find that list finally today, so we can do that. We need people to help out with that and read names, because it's very emotionally draining to do that. I usually don't make it through without crying several times. So I'm going to make a few calls, and you had some suggestions too, Mike, on people that we could call in, and they could read an hour or two with us too.
Yep.
And so we can plan on doing that day and honoring our dead that way, since we don't seem to have a president that will do it.
Isn't that sickening?
It is. It is. I'm just... Oh, I am praying every day that report that says that General Joseph Dunford took over Obama is true. I haven't seen him. I haven't seen his face around here in the last, I don't know, few days anyway. But I'm hoping.
Something's got to be done. I mean...
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. I saw a report today when I was looking for that list that our military is cut in half now of what it should be. And so the Pentagon is asking for the Marines. They want the Marines to be increased by quite a large number. And so they're asking for the funding for that, and I believe they got it.
Well, then I saw...
Which again tells me probably Obama is not in back of that funding, because he's been trying to get rid of it. So I'm thinking, oh, please, God, tell me that they're holding him somewhere.
Well, and here's... I've had this article up now for days, and I haven't done it, put it out as a story, but I'll read you just this one section of it. It's you might have even been the one that gave me this link, military.com.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, I'll just read this little article real quick. It says, Women and the Draft. The Senate's panel version of legislation would also require women to register for the draft beginning January 1st, 2018, and create a commission to study whether the so-called selective service is still needed. The language comes as more women are applying to infantry and other combat jobs after the Pentagon ordered each of the individual military services to open previously closed positions to female troops. Captain Kristen Griest, for example, was expected to become the Army's first female infantry officer this week after making history last summer when she became one of the first women to complete Ranger School and earn the Ranger tab. Now let me explain a little bit deeper than the words themselves, okay? There's a lot of psychology included into those two little paragraphs, okay? The first paragraph is saying, okay, well, we're going to add women to the draft, but we don't even know if we need to keep it. You know, just like it's no big deal, nonchalant. The second paragraph builds you up to think positively about women being included into the draft. So you have to watch that stuff very carefully. There's a lot of psychology used in articles like this.
Yeah, there sure is, and a lot of propaganda. You know, I'm thinking to myself, how many rapes go on every day in the military? And how many of those women get pregnant from those rapes? And then you put them out on the front lines? I think they should go put their robots out on the front lines.
Oh, I think that's coming.
We don't need our women out there. We need the robots. They can go in there.
That's coming.
I hope so. At least if we're going to get shot, you'd shoot one of them. I don't care.
I think we're going to see that real fast. I think we are headed for a world war. I do think it's coming home this time, and I think it's intended to be honest about it. But I think what we're going to see is, for the first maybe few weeks, you might see the conventional type of war, but I think after that you're going to see things that will just blow your mind as far as the weaponry.
Yeah. Well, we know that they have plasma weapons up the yin-yang.
Yep.
And they haven't brought those forth for us to see them completely yet. We know that they're using time machines. And isn't it interesting? I remember in Iraq, was it? No, I'm sorry, take that back. It was Afghanistan. They found a time machine. It was Iraq or Afghanistan. I can't remember for sure which one. Several years ago, probably 5 years ago now. And what happened? All the world leaders made a beeline for that time machine, wanting to bring it back to their countries. That time machine was brought back to the United States.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, it was, and Hillary Clinton was over there getting it. So,
anytime that they have a large archaeological find that involves certain groups of people, you see our military move in almost immediately
yeah,
and take over.
yep. So I'm wondering if they knew that thing was there all the time, because then, they find the time machine, and then the war's over. And we leave just so many people. I don't even know how many soldiers we still have in Afghanistan, but I don't think it's very many, because I went over the list of dead for 2016. It wasn't too many. It was like 27 of our soldiers, so I think we don't have too many over there.
Well, I wasn't aware of that, but I do know that the weapons of mass destruction turned out to be just basically gold caches that they had.
I don't doubt that at all.
Yep.
And them Chinese are buying up gold left and right now.
Yes, they are.
So you just better look out, We're going to get hit here pretty soon. And I don't expect that we're actually going to get hit really, really hard, like flat-out collapse, until the spring of 2017. Where did they take the time machine to, Anna? I believe it's probably at Area 51 or something similar to that. We do have 2 or 3 other places, so they would have taken it to a place like that, I'm sure. Underground for sure. Yeah, I remember too there was a sort of a tiff, a fight that went on between Clinton and Merkel. She wanted that thing back in Germany, and she was trying to make claim to it, and Russia was trying to make claim to it. Other places were too, so. But it ended up that the U.S. got it. So it's interesting, these things that are going on. When you put a video on today with that John Teeters, I don't know nothing about him, so I'm researching him now. But I do know Bashagio. And I know that Bashagio and 4 other guys, and that was including Obama, were a part of the time machine travels, the Pegasus project. And so whether John Teeters was ever a part of that or not, I don't know. But there's been a lot of stuff going on that we just didn't know anything about, and that's most of the time that's a subjects that we don't want to touch. We just want to stay away from that stuff because it's kind of far out there, but far out is coming now. It's here, and we got to deal with it. And so people like Carrie Cassidy, I used to think she, oh man, is she out there? But you know what? She's stuck on the subject. She never got off these subjects, and she has taught me a lot that I thought, it couldn't be, this can't be possible, but yeah. They either found that time machine in Iraq or in Afghanistan. I can't remember which one right now. But all the world leaders headed there. They were all fighting over that machine. We've been working with time travel since early 50s at least, that I can go back and do research on and see.
Isn't that what the Philadelphia experiment was?
Yeah, and there were several other operations that were done in between there, and so I think that a lot of the people that have disappeared, that we just never can figure out what happened to them, well, we might one day figure out what happened. They might have been a part of that whole testing. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, it's insane what they do to us and act like they have a right to do so.
Right. Yeah, you see a lot of things in the sky right now, and people are reporting on them every day. I get reports from Secure Team 10 and every day, and I have to really look and decide, and it's hard. It's hard to discern which ones are holograms or Blue Beam Project and which ones are real.
Yep.
But we have been creating our own UFOs for years and years and years. And that's why they don't want us to go near Area 51. Because that's where they're creating them. And they're also creating them in the desert of Bundy. There's a place out there that's underground. So it's not going to surprise me to see any of these things in the sky. Do I think that they are aliens? No. I call them demons from other dimensions. Do I think that people live in other dimensions? I don't know. My mind can't go that far. I don't know. But I think we're going to see a lot of things. And I believe this government and everybody in it knows these things. And they've been keeping quiet and keeping quiet. And pretty soon they got to come out with it. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of surprises.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I always say every day nothing can surprise me anymore, but it does. Every day I get surprised by another one. I'm like, well, okie dokie. I'm going to stop saying that.
Some of the stuff that I see on the news is just unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody was just bringing up kidnapped kids there, and I believe that is happening. I think that the kids that were kidnapped, taken down in the tunnels under the Mormon Church in Independence, Missouri, and then transferred underground to Canada, and they were there to be trained for super soldiers, which they have to go through a lot of torture for that. I think some of those super soldiers they trained is what we're going to see coming now. And I know I did an interview a couple years ago with a guy, I can't think of his name now. But Carrie Cassidy had him on, and so I picked him up from there. And the stuff he described was absolutely horrible. The next day I got a phone call from another girl in Arizona, and it was so freaky because her father was working in Honduras, and I knew him. And she was used as one of those super soldiers.
I
So-
just had a request from a Mason Wells. I don't know if that's possibly Rick or...
It could be. Try it out. He might be using his brother's or somebody else's computer.
Yeah, I went ahead and I accepted it. We'll see what happens.
I'm sure he's still trying. He was ready to come on last week, but I already had the other guests.
Oh, so did somebody else with that last name. I don't want to keep calling out names.
Yeah. No,
Oh.
that's all right.
Here we go. Let me see. Okay, I can't add the group. Hello.
Hi, Rick.
Oh,
Is that
hi.
you, Rick?
I was trying to. Kathy. Golly, yes, it's me, Kathy.
Okay.
Hello.
I'm glad that you kept pursuing it.
What a chore. There's a reason why I hate Skype, and
Yeah, there's another reason.
Yep, I see him. I don't hear him though.
No, he's fading out.
No, I can't hear you.
We can't hear you, Rick.
Yeah, he closed the call.
Okay. Well, this will be an interesting night if we ever get him on.
Yeah, he had his video up too. If he
Oh,
if he
tell
puts
him
his
right
video,
away.
yeah.
Send a message and tell him to keep the video down.
Okay, I sent him a message.
I did too. He's over here messaging me on his Facebook page.
Well, I mean, anyway, he can even call in. That's all set up, or I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think he can from where he's at.
Oh, here he goes. Oops, I think. Hang on a second. Let me add you in on the other call.
I can hear you.
Hang on just a second. I didn't, here we go. I didn't click add to group call. Are you there, Kathy? Kathy? Hmm. Okay, this is weird. Seems I have lost them both. Hang on, let me try to get them both back.
Oh, you're back.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Now let me try to get him back.
Okay, and I'm echoing now.
That should go away. Are you still echoing now?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. No, that's gone.
Yeah, it usually does it for a few seconds. I don't know what happened, but I answered his call, and I said, hang on, let me...
Hello?
Hey, you're there.
Hi, Red. We got you back.
Hi, Kathy?
It is me.
I hope so.
Either that or you're on another show.
Hey, let's give it a shot,
Yeah, I say go.
huh?
What do you want to talk about tonight,
Okay.
Rick?
Yeah, that was tough. I had to do. What do I want to talk about tonight?
Yeah,
Hmm.
I'm over on your
Well,
Facebook
you
page.
know, I was. You what?
I'm on your Facebook page, so there's lots of subjects.
Well, see, I put one up this morning about guys. You know what? You know what's just kind of got me generally a little bit worked up is is Mitt Romney and these other clowns that are, from what I see, they're just, it's like a deliberate attempt to put Hillary in the, or put Hillary, I hate to call her Hillary, put the criminal, the next criminal in the White House. And it's just like it's intentional. This guy, Bill Kristol, is really starting to irritate me. It's like sabotage. It's him and Romney. It looks like sabotage. That's what's got me kind of bugged right now.
Well, they're going to fight tooth and nail, that's for sure. This is the year for entertainment, I think.
Well, you know, it might turn out that way, but this stuff's too serious. I mean, this is kind of a make or break time, and if we end up with another repeat of what we've had these last two times, however that happened, if we can end up in civil war, I'm firmly of that belief. I mean, the rule of law in the United States has gone straight down the toilet,
Yeah.
and if we continue on this trajectory, there's going to be nothing. There's going to be nothing. I mean, why would anybody who's marginally criminal, they've got no reason to restrain themselves. Why shouldn't they? No, there's no consequences for misbehaving. And I mean, you look at this woman that's the Democrats are running, and that being her only qualification, and that's not a qualification, that's just a condition, is being a woman. She's a criminal, a serious criminal.
Yes, she
Anything
is.
that most people do is pales by comparison. And so how is that? I mean, we've got a problem. We've got a morality problem. We've got a big problem in this country.
Yeah, we sure do. She has to continue to fight, to run. She has to get in office in her mind. Because if she doesn't, she then can serve time for everything she's done. But if she gets in office, she then has immunity during the time she's president.
And that's definitely not. I didn't. She would be subject to being impeached, but we've seen how stringent they are about enforcing that. I mean,
Doesn't work at all.
Guy that's there should have been impeached day one. No, it's not going to happen. We got those Congress, so it doesn't.
Yeah, well, I don't even know that our Congress is godless.
Yeah, you're right.
They're compromised.
Well, that could be, but the net impact is the same. I mean, we're not represented, but yeah, they're probably compromised, deliberately compromised. They're probably exactly the type of people that are controlled once in there. I agree. There's no.
I was real interested in your first little ditty you had up here today about accepting criminals as illegals or lose aid. This is how they're trying to get us with the bathroom.
Yeah, Well, yeah, I mean, they're willing to do it to us, but not do it to. Um, so what that's about is a bill that's there's 20 Republican co-sponsors to cut off aid to countries of illegal. Say there's one guy that they named in there from Asia or from Haiti that they wouldn't take him back, and it happens all the time. So they release criminals into the streets, and then once that happens, they commit another crime, and who pays? The American people, the victims, the American people. We pay to incarcerate the guy, and besides the fact that he's just here illegally.
Yeah.
It's an excellent point you raised. They won't put any pressure. Finally, they won't put any pressure on those countries, but they'll put the pressure on us. Play ball or lose money that was yours to begin with anyway. It's so far. It's so far now.
Yeah. Everything is about the money. Now, if people were smart, they'd just say, hey, I don't need your darn money. Kiss off. But we don't. Money controls everything.
Stop paying.
So. Yeah.
Well, we give them the money. We send them the money.
That's
we
it.
need to stop sending them the money. Stop signing. But see, that's where they're geniuses that they got us on the payroll deduction, so they've already got our money. So they're giving us our money back instead of us sending it to them.
Exactly.
If people put their if they adjusted their withholding to where it was more in line with the tax rate, they might be more willing to do that. Now it's I'm getting free money or I'm getting money back. A lot of it is free. Then they withhold it and they use that as a wedge. It's just the Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson model that they're using on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just
how anybody can vote. Look at slimy Chuck Schumer. How anybody can vote for that guy? Can look at that guy? Can stand there when that son? All of them are like that. All of them are like that. The Black Caucus, they're all like that. They're all just. I mean, they exude corruption. It's like leaking out of their pores. The corruption on them. How anybody can vote for these slime balls and stand to be represented by them is beyond me, because they're disgusting. Hillary Clinton is disgusting. They're nasty people. They're not even people. They're like dogs that need a bath.
Well, you know what? They don't even care anymore that we know what they're guilty of. They're not frightened by that at all anymore.
No, they don't. No.
And I think it's because we may mouth off, we may talk about it, we may teach the truth, but we don't stand up. I think that's a big problem.
I lost you there, Kev.
Oh, I said we can teach the truth and we can talk and tell them everything that's going on, but if we don't stand up and back that up with protests and with a little bit of force here,
right.
They're just going to continue. They're laughing at us.
Right. But we need to be going Egyptian on them, and we're not.
No, we're not.
And we're getting exactly what. And then again, that gets back to that. I mean, I'll single him out because he used to be one of the guys that I thought was somebody, but Trey Gowdy's a big talker, who does absolutely nothing. He's in charge of a immigration subcommittee and does absolutely nothing but hold hearings and then grab butt with Luis Gutierrez afterwards, arm in arm.
Yeah.
No, if you want to do that, you're a fraud. You're nothing but a fraud.
Yeah.
And that's all we've got in there, aside from Jeff Sessions and one or two others. It's a club of nothing but phonies, frauds, societal parasites. That's all they are. They're no good. I mean, it's easy for me to come on here and say it, but it's the truth. And you say the same thing. It's the truth.
Yeah. I was just on
What?
the Dave Hodges show on Sunday, and I was reporting on all of the soldiers that are coming in from the other countries into Honduras, and they're being trained in Nicaraguan dialect, and then they'll be given Nicaraguan papers to come up our borders because we'll let them in here because they're coming from a communist country. Well, it's not going to be many more days, and you're going to see Bolivia or not Bolivia, Brazil and Venezuelan people in here too because they can't even eat. They're going to come up these borders, and they're going to look for money for their families to send back. They're going to do the best they can. They'll join in with the cartels, and whoever is going to pay them.
It's true.
Yeah, they're just coming across our borders every day. And nobody cares. Nobody's done.
Why is Jay Johnson?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Jay Johnson needs to be in prison. He is I'd say, aside from Hussein Obama, he's public enemy number one, Jay Johnson.
Yeah.
That you see something, say something. Anytime anything happens, it's see something, say something, and tell me again about how sophisticated ISIS is and how they're using the internet, Johnson. Instead of doing your friggin' job and securing the border, and instead of us having a border patrol, we've got an induction. It's an induction agency.
And then when we did,
I was watching. Go ahead.
And when we did have guys that would go down there and voluntarily watch them borders and control them borders, well, they threw them in jail. They're political prisoners. I didn't catch what you said.
I'm trying to. You're talking to what the heck? Who was I never thought I'd forget that name. The name of that group that was coming out of Arizona. The
Blaine Cooper's group.
Citizens, the civilians.
Yes. Them guys down there.
I don't know if it was Blaine. There was one for him. I didn't realize. Yeah, there's another one before them back 10, 12 years ago. Oh, crap, what's their name? Well, Mom, he's gone. That went out of my head. I'll have to find that out. I have to find it. One of the guys ran for a senator or state congressman in Arizona, I think.
Well, I had the director of the Border Patrol on my show last year, and he told us that they bring them, they catch them, they bring them in, and Obama lets them loose.
And what? Catch them and what?
Obama lets them loose in our country.
Yeah.
Now, he take them out. He lets them loose in here.
They don't even bring them in now. They don't even arrest them now. That's what you're saying in the hearings a month ago. They don't even, and then they went after him for violating or for whistleblowing.
Yeah.
The border spokesman. I can't remember his name either. They went after him for exposing their fraud. I mean, God. You talk about needing somebody to stand up. These criminals, this guy, I mean, this DHS guy, he is nothing of open borders, Marxist criminal, opening the door and turning our back to whoever's coming across. It's just insane, you know. And I think that's part of the reason why DHS was created in the first place. Because in order to bastardize something or to deprecate it, you need control, and central control is a lot easier than controlling through a lot of different satellites, and then so they put one dummy in control. This guy that can't even speak without smacking his lips like he's got a mouthful of cereal. And they put him in charge so he can be the little. I mean, you're over. And how is Congress allowing this to happen? They allow a memorandum of Jay Johnson to supersede laws that they wrote. How the heck it's a memorandum nullifying laws.
Yeah.
That doesn't. That's totally. It's just fraudulent.
Well, when I heard today,
Memorandum cannot.
go ahead. Did we lose him?
No, I'm listening to you.
Oh, okay. When I heard today that Iranian soldiers, that I got you. When I heard today that Iranian soldiers were coming up our borders, and they're going to join forces with the cartel in Mexico, I then understood why this bathroom thing started. This is a big distraction, so we won't pay attention to what's going on our borders.
Yep. And then and the airline thing too. Up in Chicago.
Yep.
Again, that's under Jay Johnson also. With the long lines. Yeah, that's another story, another distraction. All of a sudden, they can't handle it. Well,
Right.
what we did this time last year? You were able to handle it last year. And I've managed large departments before. If you don't have enough people, it happens from time to time. You put them on overtime. I did an article on this idiot standing out there. He comes up. He says we've got a 10-point plan, and there were 2 points, 2 points and a half. Hire more people, put people on overtime, and schedule more canine units. I'll call that one that. Everything else was just fluff stuff so he could add a number to it. Now, we're going to work with being flexible with the airlines. What does that mean? It doesn't mean a thing. The guys just out there putting a face on something. Why? What happened? Why? Nobody's asking the question. Where's the investigative reporters? Nobody's asking the question. What's different today than 30 days ago? What's different today than this time last year? How is it any different? It's what you said it is. It's a distraction. It's a distraction.
That's exactly what it is.
Either to take the heat off of Hillary Clinton, or
it might be both, Rick. It might be both.
yeah.
I say.
Well,
to all of the militia in the United States, go to the borders. Do Mr. Obama's job for him. Stop these guys from coming in right now.
yeah.
Nobody else is going to do it.
Yeah, they sent they're sending a message on that too, with the deal out there in Oregon that they're not above murdering people. So it's a serious thing when you got to do their job for them, because they don't want their job done, and they don't want borders. You what is going on? They're flooding us with people. They're going to bankrupt the country. They're going to overrun us and dilute all the white people out of power, and we're going to be just like every other toilet around the world, and then they'll rule us like slaves. That's all they do. They don't give a darn about the United States.
No. No, we've made enemies everywhere.
They're global citizens.
Yeah.
Huh?
We've made enemies everywhere, Rick. Everywhere we've gone, we've started wars. We've torn down nations. We've done everything to destroy these people in the name of democracy. My God. And now we're going to bring all our enemies in here because these are our enemies. These are the people that don't like us anymore.
Yeah, they might say it's in the name of democracy. That's that's their excuse. We haven't done. I don't know. We aren't spreading democracy anywhere.
No, we aren't.
Why do lumber being offended at us sticking our nose in? I would, but it's a global plan to take over. That's why they're doing what they're doing in Europe. That's why they're trying to flood us with Muslims and illegals. They want the white people out of power. And I'm not a white supremacist or anything like that. But I do know white people do have some good qualities, just like other people have good qualities. We did build a pretty darn good country. And what they're doing is they're taking it and they're carving it up and gutting it and taking the assets from us, giving it to themselves, and the hell with us. They don't care about the United States. They got what they want. They got their power. They're building their world order.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're
That's
doing.
what's going on in Europe too.
Yeah, you're closer to Europe over that direction. What do you see in Europe going on, Rick?
Oh, I'm not anywhere. I don't get out of my yard. I don't know. There's. I mean, I might as well be in. I mean, it doesn't matter. It just they're everything I get. But I'll tell you what I do see. Is this international news reporting, and if you didn't know, if I didn't know better, I think that Obama's the God, and that Trump is evil, and the way they slant everything, especially CNN International, is so bad. It's so biased liberal. I mean, it's like liberal talking points. It's horrid, and everything they do has the angle of the promiscuity, homosexual agenda, and all this kind of crap. Every newscast is you can't listen to it. You can't listen to it. If I didn't get Fox, and I got my problems with Fox too, but the other stuff is just fiction. It's crazy fiction. It's just no good. So yeah, but I mean.
Well, and the problem with the alternative, the problem with the alternative news is that you have a lot of newcomers that haven't been around a long enough time to identify the propaganda yet. So they're spreading propaganda unknowingly as well. And now you really got to use discernment. Who can you listen to and who can't you listen to? You have to research everything.
Yeah. And also the American youth too. I mean that's the sort of state of affairs. I get two daughters in their 20s, and my goodness, I mean, I believe me, I did my best to educate them, but one of them is completely lost, and the other one knows what's going on, but she doesn't spend the time. There's no benefit to her that she sees in being resisting the Bernie Sanders crap. But it's the whole control thing. It's the media. It's the doggone education system. It's just a brainwashing. It's a propaganda network. It's there, and I mean we see it, but dang it, it's so big now, and it's so permeates everything. It just, what do you do?
Yeah.
What do you do? They got the power and the disinformation. All we've got is the truth.
That's it. And you know, the truth is that most people don't want to hear the truth. They'd rather hear the lie.
Yeah, a lot of them. A lot of them. A lot of them. That's a fact. They're comfortable with it. They don't even want to be bothered. Yeah, whatever is easy. Whatever's going to take care of me today. Whatever is my, what am I going to get mine? You know, give me a little token of something, and that'll buy me off for the time being until my will doesn't matter. Yeah. Well, I used to be. I remember. Oh shoot, not 20 years ago, maybe 7, 8 years ago. Maybe not that. 5 years ago, I guess was all it was. I was in Indianapolis, and I was at a little outdoor 7-Eleven truck stop like thing, and the girl was outside smoking a cigarette as I was walking by, and I pointed up to the sky that was just full of chemtrails, and I said to her, just because I wanted, I said, you see that? She says, yeah, I wonder what that is. And I don't even remember if I told her or not, but you know, she just said, if I hadn't said anything, she'd have never, obviously, she'd never talked about it before, because she had never no any concept of what it was.
Yeah.
But how much bigger can it be than that in your sky, everywhere that you go? And it may not be a topic you want to discuss, but the point I'm making is that it's right there in front of everybody's face,
yeah.
and they just become acclimated to it. They become accustomed to it, and they don't even see it anymore. Yeah. And they don't ask. They don't ask the question. You gotta. So much of this stuff that they're doing, if you just ask the question, like with the airports, why is it different today than it was a week ago, or whatever? Why? Nobody asks why, and the media darn sure doesn't ask why.
Well, because it involves money. They're trying to hold up the Congress to vote them much more money for the TSA. So they create all these problems so that the Congress gives them the darn money. Now, just tonight at 6, they showed the airport there in Chicago, and it was running smooth. They must have got their money.
Yeah. Yeah.
And where did they get the money from? You know, Obama was down in Honduras 21st of February, and then again 2 weeks ago now. And he promised the Hondurans millions of dollars. Where's he getting that money?
Well, from the usual trough, our pockets.
That's exactly right.
You mean specifically, where is it coming from? You mean from TSA or something?
From
I don't know. Where did they get the $3 billion for the climate change crap?
For what?
The slush fund, the green slush fund. He just takes it. The green slush fund, the climate slush fund at the UN. He just gave them $3 billion. Moved it from legitimate stuff or semi-legitimate stuff to fund his climate slush fund. You know, the one that we just signed up for in December. That at the UN, the other one that's now all of a sudden the planet's not in crisis because that piece of paper was signed. I was watching a movie last night, kind of halfway watching it while I was working, and it's a stupid, unbelievable science fiction thing with tornadoes that appear out of nowhere in New York City for no reason. And the reason that they gave to explain their storyline was because the Gulf Stream is split in half because of climate change. And that's all the explanation basically that they had, and that's all they really need, because if the same thing works with the president, or the fake president, and it works with everything else. We just say climate change, and people will automatically assume it's too complicated for me to comprehend, but it must be real. And it's too big. It's too big to get a grip on, and it always happens somewhere else, far, far away where you can't see it, but the devastation is horrific. You know? Really? No, name one place. You know, give me one specific. That.
Yeah, I think every country needs to kick these
I
central
believe.
banks out. These world banks need to go, and we need to open our own banks.
Yeah, yeah. But they kill you for saying that. Not
I
you
don't know.
personally, but I
Well,
mean, you know, look at
adios.
Gaddafi. That was what Gaddafi was doing. You know,
You know,
Libya,
when
Libya was
Vietnam,
like the garden place of the world.
oh yes, it was. You're right.
Go ahead.
When Vietnam war was over, they brought in all those Vietnamese here, and there was hundreds of Hmong, Laotians, and Vietnamese in thousands of them actually in Minnesota. And the first thing they did is open their own banks. And every kid that went to college, their college education was paid for before they went. Everything, their housing was paid for through their own banks. Those people live well because they know how to do it. We, dummies here, we don't do what we should be doing.
No, no, we don't. We take what we're given.
Yep. Yep. And
That just it made me think about go ahead.
the country you're living in now, do they have a central bank system?
Oh yeah, everybody's got a central bank,
Uh-huh.
except for shoot, I don't know where the.
Well, Libya
yeah, yeah.
Libya was going to take care of themselves, and because they said no to the central banks, then you had your big problems. Anybody who said no to the world banks,
with Saddam, wasn't it?
yeah, same thing. Yep.
That's what that was an invasion looking for an excuse. Well, we don't have a reason to invade Iraq. We got to come up with something. Yeah, well, yeah, we got a long distance terror plot here, looking for blame to sign and looking for some yellow cake to sign an attachment with. Yeah, give me a break. Libya was, I mean, everybody in Libya got free housing, got you had 14 cent a gallon gasoline, you got free education, you know, you got married if you wanted it, you got a 40-acre farm and stuff, or, you know, maybe 5-acre farm, I forget which it was, but it was, you know, it was enough to survive on. It was a great country. It was a great country, and I hear Hillary Clinton saying, you know, that it's a work in progress, that she transferred it from a third world hellhole to what it is now on formulating democracy or whatever. It's formulating bullcrap is what it is. It's destroyed, total destruction. Just people don't know. People don't know. It's not being reported. Nobody cares. Nobody learns. Nobody learns.
No, and I really don't understand how this happens. When they've taken out in Oregon and in Nevada, taken all of these political prisoners, put them in jail for nothing. They did nothing. They stood for the law. Well, that's all about making the rest of us scared. And they'll sacrifice those guys. They don't care unless we stand up for them. And we were talking about that earlier before you came on tonight. Unless we, the people, stand up, we're going to lose everything.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the way I say it, and I might be wrong. I might be too optimistic. I'm not often accused of being too optimistic, but I might be. But I'm thinking that if we can pull it off this time with Trump and get him get a handle back on this monster, if he is who he appears to be, then maybe we got a shot, and I see that as our last shot. If that doesn't happen, then it's gonna get physical.
Well, I've been listening to his interviews on the air in the last 3-4 days here, and he's flip flopping on everything now. He tells one this and he tells another this, and so I'm not sure what is going on with him, but I don't trust him.
No, he's not gonna be able. He's not gonna get away with that. The people that put him where he is won't tolerate that. If that's what's happening,
That makes you wonder what is he going to do when he gets in office? What is he going to do?
The establishment can't submit to the establishment pressure. He can't do it. He can't do it. If he does, he's done, and if he does, we're done. I mean, he just can't do it. It can't happen.
He's already showing that he will do it. He's already flip-flopping in different things that he said. So, if he's doing that and the campaign doesn't even... today he was talking about the banking thing, and they asked him... Let me see if I get this right now. Oh, let's see. How did he say that? Oh, he said we can just... They were talking about paying down our debt. He said we shouldn't have any debt. We'll just keep printing money. Well, the last time they talked to him about this, he said, no, you can't continue to print money. You know, he said what was right. Now he's saying what is wrong. And so I'm being very careful with these little statements. I'm catching them all, and I'm making a little list. Because these guys, they're so sneaky.
The one I saw that I could tell he was modifying his position was on the refugees supposedly. I don't give any credibility to that term, but he was talking about he changed it from being Muslims, restrictions on Muslims entering the country, to Syrians entering the country, and he said it more than once. So it wasn't just a casual thing. It was like he was trying to reframe his position, and I was like, he knows that it's not a Syrian problem; it's a Middle East problem. So I don't know why he would frame it that way, unless he's looking for some kind of protection from the Muslim lobby, which is, again, uncharacteristic with who we've been presented with. I don't know, but it's not going to fly. It's not going to fly. He won't get away with that, and I'm not accusing him of it. I'm really, I'm like you, sensitive to it because we've been lied to as a matter of course my whole life, and it's gonna come, either he's gonna do the right thing or the people are gonna do the right thing for him, and it's getting to that point.
You know, him and Hillary are cousins. And I believe from the beginning that he was used to bring Hillary to the forefront. And that's exactly what's happened. So now we're going to see exactly where he goes, because he's starting to show me that he's not who he says he is. And Anyway, I'm of the
I
belief
hope, I hope,
myself. I believe that only God can win this war. This is it. I don't think that man can do anything.
uh, that, that may be the case. I hope that it's just, he's getting hammered from all sides, and I hope it's just trying to survive, just trying to grab some air, kind of thing, and that his positions will be where they've been to this point. I mean, the stuff that he's based his campaign on is all stuff we need. So, I mean, how do you move away from that? How do you move away from it? He's already recognized the direction. He's recognized the serious threat. How do you say, oh well, it's not a threat now? You can't. So I mean, he's got to stay with it. I think he's going to stay with it. I think he's going to stay with it. He may waffle a little bit here and there. I don't know, and I certainly hope he doesn't. But I mean, how does he tap into Paul Ryan? Paul Ryan's a globalist
Yep.
snake. How do
Yep.
you how do you how do you tap dance with him? That's got me concerned. He should tell Ryan to go stick it, and that's it. But he hasn't done that, and I don't know why. He doesn't have to be nice to him.
It's an interesting campaign, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. It's a big one. It's big and it's important. And if it goes wrong, it's going to go horribly wrong. I hope it goes right.
Do you guys in the chat room have any questions for Rick that you'd like to, any things you want to talk about?
We've been talking about all kinds of different things.
Well, I see that, but I'm waiting now to see if anybody has any questions or whatever. Yeah, you guys have been, I mean, we're just covering everything tonight.
Does Rick think it's a good or bad idea if I build a blanket fort and steal Jim's Oreos?
If what now?
If I built a blanket fort and stole my girlfriend's Oreos. It was just a joke, Rick.
They're playing in the
Yeah,
chat.
that's probably.
Oh, that's a good question.
Oh, about Israel. Yeah, what do you think about Israel and the USA and Russia, Rick?
Well, I think there's no reason. I mean, again, more than the behind-the-scenes stuff of the alliances and the criminal enterprises and all of that. There's no reason for either us and Israel to be at odds with each other, or us and Russia to be at odds with each other. I got more in common with the Russians than I do with the Mexicans, probably, and ethnically, I don't know. But from what Russian people that I've known, they're nice people. I don't see they're not demons, the monsters that they've been made out to be. They were taken over. They were basically just people doing their normal thing back in early 1900s when some of our boys went over there and took over their country. The Bolsheviks were funded by the bankers, the friggin' the New York bankers. Trotsky was in New York when the revolution began, if I'm not mistaken. And so I mean, there's no reason why, even though we've been fighting this Cold War for forever with the Russians, there's no reason for it. It's just a political thing. It's just a way of generating revenue for armament industries and to have a ready army so you can balance the power in different regions of the world to your benefit. But there's no reason for it. We got no problem with the Russians. I got no problem with the Russians. I got no problem with the Israelis. They're the little dogs stand up to the Islamic machine. They're our allies, and the Russians should be our allies. I think our enemy should be, and it's a common enemy, is this Islamic monster, and that's who we should be. And the Russians are fighting them, Israelis are fighting them, the good guys are fighting them.
Well, we're not doing such a good job of fighting them. We created them.
Absolutely. Well, I don't say we created them, but
oh no, Obama
some of
created
them, yeah.
them. Yeah. As far as Israelis go, I think what the people are talking about is the Zionists, not Israel itself, the Zionists that are running this nation and every other nation. Those who say they are Jews and are not. That's what the question was referring to, I think.
Well, I'm not so well versed on Zionists behind the scenes type of stuff as maybe you are or some others, but I mean the Grand Mufti of whatever the hell country he was in was you seen that picture of him sitting with Adolf Hitler. They've been going after us for a long time, long before Obama came. I mean, George Bush, H.W. Bush invaded Kuwait. I mean, we've had our nose stuck in here for a long time. And Afghanistan, the Russians had their nose stuck in there. It's a convenient. If you were wanting to have a standing army available, and you need to go and train them, or you need to have live fire exercises or whatever, where would you do it? You wouldn't do it in your own country. You're going to do it somewhere in the middle of nowhere, and that's Afghanistan. Or oil-rich Kuwait, or oil-rich Iraq, or Libya. Now they got oil in Libya. Yes.
Yeah, this thing with Venezuela, when you're talking about oil, that's a little confusing down there because Venezuela has a lot of oil. So how did they get to the point they're at now? Who stole that oil?
How did they flip? They flipped completely in what, 10 years?
Yeah.
They were weren't they in OPEC? They probably still are in OPEC, but they were on top of the world when Hugo Chavez first came to power, but then he started nationalizing the oil companies and all of that stuff. That I don't know why that necessarily contributed to their downfall, but it sure looks like it had. Big time.
I think it's the government robbed that oil. That's your politicals down there robbed all the oil. At least the oil money.
Yeah. But then what happened? And it didn't go away. There's still got an industry. How did it tank? I mean, that's revenue that if they shipped it out of their own pocket and shipped it back into the public trough, back and forth, at least the revenue stream should still be there. But it's not. Where did it go?
Yep.
You're telling me that they shifted all of it to their pockets and none of it's going back into the public trough, and then it's going to implode? Well,
that's exactly what happened.
I don't know.
That's what happened.
Well, that's about as ignorant as
and Hugo Chavez, before he died, he was taking all that money to the group that was the ALBA group, ALBA, which was a group of all of the Central and South American countries that was kind of like our NAFTA that we formed. And those guys have a rule, and so they said if one country was attacked, they would all step up to the plate here. They won't let any of the countries that belong to the ALBA group be attacked. So Chavez used that. He brought money, millions and millions of dollars to Central America from South America, and he tried to buy all those nations. Nicaragua, he funded billions of dollars. And Honduras, he brought in millions and millions of dollars. And Guatemala was the same. El Salvador was the same. He was trying to bring in communism. And I believe that Honduras was within 2 weeks of becoming totally a communistic nation. But the military stepped in and did a coup, and that's what stopped it. Now, that's what we need here. We need the military to get some guts and get these guys out.
Well, that may be. They may be. I'm willing to give them until November and see what happens. And if it doesn't work right, then I'll agree that you're probably right about that. See, I think this is our last shot.
Yeah, this is all, and a lot of this has to do with the money collapsing very soon, and the revaluation of all the different monies. There's 182 countries revaluating their money now. There are many countries not using the dollar anymore. And these BRICS nations brought that around. So what China does next with our money, this is going to be the killer.
Yeah, it's going to be this. Kathy, I'm going to need to go to work here.
Okay. Well, I'm glad. Thank you.
Started my day,
Yeah. Thank you for trying to get on here and being persistent.
Yeah, it was tough, but it was worth it. I appreciate you giving me the airtime.
Oh, it was good to talk to you again.
All right.
God bless you guys.
Well, take care. Okay, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So, Michael, it's you and me.
All righty. Well, I've got an interesting topic.
Yes.
Illinois is changing their driver's license. Now, we don't have the money to even pay lottery winners the money that was supposed to be prepaid for the lottery.
Really?
Oh yeah, they haven't paid out for any major lottery winner for a long time now.
Where'd the money go?
I don't know. See that, and I thought that was the deal of the lottery, that money was just for the lottery plus whatever the schools got, which they got ripped out of anyway. But all of a sudden now, and they're still having the lottery. So that's a good question.
I'm proud to say they never got none of my money.
I mean, it makes no sense. People are still going and paying their dollar bills for their lottery tickets. But if they win the big lottery, they don't get the money. They get an IOU.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, and people are still buying tickets. But
is this just in Illinois, or is this everywhere?
This is Illinois.
Okay.
But this, check this out. This is what this says. The headline is, Illinois will phase out issuing permanent licenses at driver service facilities. And it reads, Illinois residents applying for driver's licenses and state identification cards will leave driver service facilities with temporary paperwork instead of permanent cards by the end of July, the Secretary of State's office announced Tuesday. The process in which the forms of identification are issued is changing as Illinois takes steps to comply with the Federal Real ID Act.
Oh, yeah. Well, Minnesota's having a problem with that federal.
Yep.
We've said several times no to it. Now they're in a position where they have to do it.
Yep.
But I think they got 2 years yet before they have to comply.
Do you know what they threatened them with? The funds thing again.
Oh, yeah. It's always the funds.
Yep. And we give them the money.
Our governor got on today and he said that in order to fix our roads, they have to get us $600 million, I think it was, more. And so they're going to either up the taxes on gas, which we are already paying about 60 cents gas tax, or they're going to up the tax on our driver's licenses 90%.
Yep. Illinois was trying for a gas tax, but it didn't go.
Yeah, it went here. What are you guys paying for gas down there right now?
Oh, I have no idea. I don't drive, so here
is $2.23 today. Where I'm at.
Let me look on the internet. I'm sure I can find it.
And the little town down the road, 12 miles from me, they're only paying $2.09.
Yeah, it's between $2.13 and $2.16. Which is crazy.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
They're manipulating the price of oil right now. And I think that had something to do with that 90,000 gallons spilled last week in the Gulf again. Everything is about money. Money, 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 money.
Yep.
They're gonna break us, absolutely, totally break us. And then they're gonna take us.
Yep. Yep. And I don't know what to tell people, but these new IDs I know for sure are going to have RFID in them because that's one of the requirements to be a Federal ID Act, whatever you call it.
Yeah. Well, it'll have all your information.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure it'll have tracking stuff in it.
Yep. But God don't require me to have an ID, so...
No. It's going to get interesting.
Yep.
Or get real, as they say. Because we got to make decisions now. And are you going to take this thing? What are you going to do with it? Just like the credit cards or your debit cards in the banks, they did the same thing.
Yep.
They got those RFID chips in the new cards.
Yep. Whether you wanted it or not.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because most stores in Minnesota weren't set up for it.
Now ours.
So you go to use your card and you can't.
Well, ours just have this chip. I don't think it's RFID yet because it's an actual physical. It's a chip. You have to stick your card into the machine, and it locks your card in while it reads it. I don't think that's the RFID yet. But I think it's getting ready for that.
Oh, okay. That's what I got. You have to stick it in and it reads it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's probably my last year driving anyway. I'm going to find some place out in the mountaintop somewhere and just park. Might have to live in that van.
Oh, I hear you. It's insane. And I think they're trying to push all this stuff through as quick as they can. Because they know something very big is coming.
Yeah, and what do we think it is? Well, Dave asked me that on Sunday, and I've always believed that what's going to happen is they're going to create chaos on all sides. So north, south, east, and west, there'll be some sort of disasters that happen, and they'll happen all at one time. Because they have to weaken us from within first. In order to have those people rise up against us and be able to, and to attack. And if they have these disasters, you saw what would happen with Katrina. They took the guns. They even roughed up that one old lady in the video I had, that because she said, "You're not taking my gun."
Oh, the one down in Katrina. Yep.
Yeah. And so as soon as they got them guns, then they put them all in the wherever they were putting them for shelter. And then you had the rapings and the beatings going on, the robbery, and nobody could protect themselves.
Right. Oh, I agree. And I think that was just practice for them.
Exactly.
Same with the marathon bombing, when they just went door to door and just, I think all that was practice. I think it was, I keep calling them temperature checks. I think it was just them seeing just how the public would react.
Yeah. That's what all the stuff has been about. Jade Helm, all of it is a big test to see just exactly where are we at. Can we get them up off the couch? Can we get that uprising going yet? And how much distraction is it going to take for each thing now? Is it getting to be a bigger deal? Well, they tried the racism thing. That didn't quite work the way they thought it would. Although there is still some out there that are screaming racism.
Yep.
But, how can they scream it at us? We didn't do nothing. There's none of us normal people out here who feel any racism. I don't feel racism against anybody.
Right.
I feel a threat by Muslims, yes, but not racism. And I believe they had to do that. They had to bring that racism card back in, because if we all got together as one, they could never win. None of us. So they have to divide us.
Yep.
And conquer that way. So these evil entities, they're way ahead of us.
Oh, yeah.
In the things that they think of doing. It's like, go to bed at night and I think to myself, just give me something to think about that's good.
Right.
I don't want to think about all this stuff.
And now the spotlight has been off of Bruce Jenner long enough. Now he's supposedly upset and wants to be a man again, or,
Well, Bruce Jenner was another distraction. The Illuminati forced him into that decision. And I know they did. And they made promises to him they didn't keep.
Yep.
And now he's destroyed his whole life, his whole family, everything. And they've left him.
Yep. And everybody's going to realize at some point they're not in the club. But
that's right.
I don't know what it's going to take, because, I know just regular average Joes like you and me that make decent money, but that's it. They make decent money. They make a good living. And it's almost like they act as if they're in the club, or have a chance to be in the club. It's like, no, if you're not Obama, if you're not a Clinton, if you're not a Biden, if those are the people in the club, and ain't nobody else getting in.
Yeah, Fed Up is right in the chat room. He's saying, if you're scared, you're already whipped. That's the truth.
Yep.
That's the truth. When you feel the most fear, that's when you push back the hardest.
I'm not scared.
Because every bit of fear that you might be feeling, Satan is feeling more himself. He knows. He knows where he's going.
I'm not afraid. I'm tired of waiting.
I was like that a couple years ago. Come on, let's get this thing over with.
Yep. I mean, I'm not saying I'm boisterous or confident. I could wind up 6 feet under the first day, and that's God's will. But let's do something. Let's stop spinning our wheels.
That's right. I like to say to Satan, if you send me home to the Father, what a blessing. I'll be the worst enemy you ever had, because I'm coming back here with Jesus, and I'm coming after you. So I won't even quit there. And I know that God knows that.
already signed up for a second tour of duty, huh?
That's it. Yep. Yep. But I'm not so sure. I look at all of these things. I try to look at this stuff at night when it's quiet and think to myself a lot of thoughts that maybe other people don't think about. But everything that has happened so far to us has been caused by man. The weather's been caused by man. Accidents, which there are none, have been caused by man. Everything has been caused by man. And man appears to be copying the Bible verbatim and trying to bring to pass all of these different prophecies in there. They're trying to run the timeline of the Bible, but they're not in God's timing. And so I think that's why everything's going wrong for them. They try this and they get caught, and they try that and they get caught. And because people are praying, this is really helping. That's where we need to war the most is in prayer. So I'm not so sure that we're at the end times that is created for us by God. I kind of have this feeling that we're at the end times by what man has created and Satan has used man to do. It's in Satan's timing and not God's what we're going through right now. That's how I've been thinking about this. And not to say that that's correct, I could be wrong. But I just have this feeling that not everything that is happening at the hand of God, because Satan is got full run of this earth right now until Jesus comes back and steps in.
Yep. And I don't know if you caught Story Hilder's sermon that she had Sunday. Oh, it was awesome. It was pretty much explaining just that about Satan having reign over the world right now.
I've never even heard of her. Story
Hilder.
H-I?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Here, I'll give you the link and Skype to her.
Yeah, I'd like to look that up. There's not too many people that I've ever heard say this. And it's just something it's entering my mind, and I'm just more and more feeling that first of all, everything that Satan has done to us is fear. Fear, 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 fear.
Mm-hmm.
And if he can get us to get that fear down in our spirit, he wins.
Yep.
And so he creates all these things around us that look like it's so overwhelming that we can't handle any of it. But here's what I've learned about prayer over the years. God hears me the first time. I do not need to repeat myself. Therefore, if I make a list, and I used to do this on my news shows, everything that I reported on that day, before we hung up, we prayed about it. And God changed lots of those things. And that's what I learned. I don't have to go back and repeat myself to God. He heard me the first time. So that gives me time to pray about the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing. One time pray it, God hears it, get to the next thing.
Yep.
And as long as we remain in prayer, and that's why he said to us, pray in season and out of season, consistent. Yep. And that doesn't mean you have to be on your knees. I'm doing dishes and I'll think, hey, Father, you know what? I just thought about this. Let's go get this one. How do you want me to pray? Show me how to pray for this. And he does. And then I'm doing the dishes and I'm praying away. I use whatever time I have, I use to talk to Jesus because he lives in me. Yep. He's right here. He doesn't have to go any further to hear me. And he intercedes for me to the Father. So no problem. No problem. I don't even know all the things I've prayed for anymore. I prayed this morning because last night I just had to have a filbert nut. And I broke my tooth right off at the gum.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to this dentist today, and I asked him if he could fix it, and he took a look, and he said, you know what, you have a root that is so long in there, I recommend you leave it just the way it is. Because we'll have to do surgery to get that root out. And he said, until you're ready for dentures, I'd leave it. I said, thank you. I left. Because when he said he had to do surgery, I said to my friend, do you ever notice there's a lot of surgery mentioned around me lately? I ain't doing no more. That's it, I'm done. You're right, I said, I'll go home and we'll just wait, and if it starts to hurt, I'll figure out something else. I won't eat no more filbert nuts, though.
Oh, I hear you. I don't even know for sure that I know what a filbert nut is.
It's those little round ones that you get when you get the mixed nuts at Christmas time that you have to crack open.
Oh, I think I know the ones you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah. I cracked one open and I didn't see, because my eyes are so good, that there was a part of what do they call a shell in there.
Oh.
The shell hit my tooth and there it was gone.
Well, I'm getting used to this whole idea that glasses are for more than just reading, so I'm still learning to put them on every time. I'll be sitting there working on something small in my hands and I can't see it, and I'm too goofy not to put the glasses on. For some reason, I just attached that to reading. I don't know.
That surgery I had this morning was so easy, and my eye is clear now, and I can see much, much clearer.
I got a... Oh, go ahead.
They used laser today.
Ah, LASIK, huh?
Yeah, and so that worked.
Are you familiar at all with a peacefinders.org?
No.
Okay. I signed up for a book. It's been about a month ago or so, and I totally forgot I signed up for it. And I got it in the mail today, and the name of the book is The Great Controversy, The True Story of Earth's Last Days. And I am just ready to get into that and start reading.
Are you telling me to get off here?
No. I think it's interesting, and they, there's a lot of stuff putting out different media and stuff like that, but I was just curious if you had ever heard of it.
No, I've been so... You know what keeps me busy all day?
What's that?
Oregon. I'm digging deeper and deeper to see where's the money, where's the funding, who can we trust.
Yeah.
And I'm really learning by doing this, that I think God is teaching me to listen to my little inner voice that says,
Yeah.
something's wrong here. And so as soon as I hear it now, I start looking, okay, let's find it. What is it? And when I ran into the Koch brothers supporting the cows group, I said, oh my God.
Yeah, that was, that makes it the puzzle fit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that means that this was a plan from the beginning of the cows group, just like I thought. Because Michelle, what's her name there,
Fiora,
told Cliven to fly in that night.
Yep.
And she was going to have a truck waiting, and they were going to ride together. But she got in ahead of him on a different plane. She rode in the truck, went right out there, and did not wait for Cliven. And who was waiting for Cliven but the FBI?
Yep.
Well, it was a setup, and I knew it was from the beginning, but everybody else I would say that to didn't believe that, because she was just so nice. And even the other day, she went to the jail. She spent 2 hours visiting with Ammon, and she spent some time visiting with Blaine Cooper, who then wrote me and said, she's so nice, Kathy. She's just so nice. And I said, if she's so nice, why are you in jail? Ask yourself that question. She has the power to take you out. Why are you in jail? She could write to that governor and ask for clemency for every one of them.
Yep.
In the name of the cows, signed by every one of those senators that are members of that group, and I believe that there's a total of 53 of them. So what is that group really set to do? Why are they being funded by the Koch brothers? What is it that they are really set there to do? Now I'm researching that.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, it's I really have to ask myself these days if they were being used as well.
You know, when the day that they picked up Cliven Bundy, and she came back the next day. Oh, I can even back up further. When she got to that scene that night for David Fry, she was supposedly going there with Franklin, whatever his name is, that pastor, Graham.
Oh, okay.
And they were going and they were going to help David Fry out of the mess he was in, and Cliven was going to help with that too. Well, what happened? What was the first thing that happened when she got out of her car? You remember?
Gosh.
They got out of the car, they started to walk toward the block, the block that was set up.
Mm-hmm.
And the FBI separated her from everybody else and took her by themselves to their tent.
Okay.
Nobody else was allowed in there.
Right.
Why? Why? You know what? If I'm a lawyer and I'm going to do this big thing, and I've got my other partners there, I ain't moving till my partners are going with me.
Right.
My witnesses are going to be there with me.
Right.
But she didn't. She told them all to stay behind. Yeah, I just, there's just something very, very wrong.
And you know what? Didn't it seem to you, or it did to me, that she seemed a bit cold towards Gavin Syme?
Yes. Yep.
That just makes me wonder if they were being set up to be killed and Gavin ruined it.
Well, the other thing to research is what has this group cows done for anybody in the past?
Oh, I don't think they've done anything.
What is their, what do they call it? What does their mission statement say they do? And how much of their mission statement have they accomplished?
I asked the same thing about Oath Keepers.
Exactly.
Oath Keepers is nothing but a fundraiser to make, what's his name, rich. That's about it. They don't do anything more than that.
Yeah. Yep. So you have to be so careful.
Yep.
And everything that you hear, you have to assume it's a lie and prove it's the truth. It's backwards. Everything is backwards. Remember the Bible says in Isaiah 17? Everything is upside down, inside out, and backwards.
Yep.
So we're not proving anybody's innocent anymore. We got to prove they're guilty. That's what they're doing. That's what we got to do. What are they guilty of? Who is this person?
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. One of the biggest things that I see as a stumbling block for us as human beings is symbolism. And the Bible even warned against that. And, you know, it seems like somebody can throw a little bit of symbolism out there and everybody's pacified just by that symbolism alone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you like and share a Facebook post, you support this cause. Okay? How did you support that cause? You know, sure, you might have brought just a touch of awareness to it, but most people passed it by just like the other guy, you know? So And it seems like even our country is identified by nothing but that symbolism. And I think our churches are the same.
Yeah. Todd, I don't believe that her bodyguard is or ever was a member of cows. What he is a 3%er. And I haven't seen anything that would say anything else. But he is a 3%er that was planted there by someone else. Now, I'm not going to say who that might be because I haven't researched it. I don't know for sure. I only have suspicion. I do know that there was a lot of problems with that guard. And Michael Emery tried to warn Lavoie and warn the others, and they did listen. But it was a little late. So, and I'm well aware of some things that took place at Lavoie's funeral, but I can't discuss those unless Michael lets me. And that again tells me that, yeah, he was planted there. Was he planted by cows? So that might be that he was a 3%er that was compromised. That's possible. And Brandon Curtis was nothing but trouble from the beginning, and I knew that. You know, I don't know whose idea it was to cheapen the whole movement by all those dildos and raising money with all that stuff. But that stuff told me that you have people there that weren't serious. They just weren't serious about what they were doing. And I don't know, you know, Pete is Pete.
I don't know how many times I've said that very thing.
yeah, I don't know how else to describe him. But now today and yesterday when he was talking about their research and what they'd been doing in the prison and how they'd found these laws, man, they were right on the money.
Yep.
And they presented in the court, and the court threw it out. Why? Because they knew. They had them. Now they got to find another way around.
Yep.
So they created a reason that they all had to stay in jail still.
You know, and this is the perfect thing for people to get behind. It really is.
Yeah.
Because this is going to set precedent one way or another.
Right. Right. Memento we're talking about, or Sally, we're talking about the guard for Chris Ann Hall.
Is that Anthony Boswell?
Yeah, but yeah, him. Yeah. The redhead.
Yep.
Yeah, he was planted, I think, and if for sure, cows probably did plant him, actually. Now that's another thing to research. Can we go back far enough and find out a tie between him and the cows group? That's a good research to do. And everything is about money, so no matter who you're doing your research at, follow the money.
And how many older women would agree with being called cows? Oh, sorry, I couldn't refuse that one.
That is kind of interesting for a professional group like that. Yeah. McConnell was planted in there as well. But he was planted in there by the FBI. Not by anybody else. That was FBI. Yeah, there's a lot of things that you just take a look at and you look back and you see how these guys were manipulated. You know, that cows group was involved with Bundy's, on Bundy's Ranch, 2014. And Michelle was a part of that. She was there then. Why has she not been arrested? I want to know. Inquiring minds want to know.
Yep. And wasn't Brandon there too?
Yes.
And
Brandon has not been arrested.
No. And the only thing they're going after him for at this point is fraud.
And he won't serve a day on that either because I believe he's protected by the FBI.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah.
We don't hear too much from Brandon anymore. Brandon?
Nope.
I did a show once calling him out just like that throughout the show.
Now, I would really, really, truly like to see all the true 3%ers and other militia groups down on our borders because they're coming in on all sides now. That I would like to see. Good night, Todd. Oh, you said right. Good. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were saying good night. I told you my eye isn't quite right yet. Neither is my typing. If you don't laugh at yourself, I don't know who will.
Oh, I hear you.
Yeah, Brandon is, I don't think he'll serve a day in jail. I think there's been a deal made.
Yeah, I kind of have a feeling that there was a deal made before that happened in Oregon, to be honest.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Because otherwise, how could he run from court? He was scheduled to be in court, and he didn't show up for court, an arrest warrant would have been issued.
Right.
And he was only 3 hours away from where he was in the first place. So they would have arrested him. They brought him back. Something is really not quite right there.
Nope.
And what's sad is how I believe it was the Cows group that manipulated Bundy, Ammon. They somehow, in all of their meetings, manipulated these guys to get on board. And if Ammon ever thinks about where he first got the idea, I bet he's going to figure it out. Because you can just see the manipulation that has taken place. She goes in there, she spends 2 hours with Ammon the other day, and cheers him up and gives him a little hope, and then he thinks she's great. No. Well, I don't know, Diane. Was it formed in 2014? That's another good question. I'll have to look at. And that's something we should all be researching now. Just get in there and dig. Because there's a lot of answers, and somewhere in all of that research, we might pop out with the answer to help these guys get out of jail. If we can find something that directly attaches that Cows group to anything illegal or to the money, the funding, and wherever they're getting all of this from, and who are all the rest of these members, I think we might have a way to get them out. But we have to do a lot of research on our end, we the people.
I think the powers that be have been doing their best to layer themselves with as many different private entities as they can.
Yep. But you know what? God gave us eyes to see and ears to hear.
Yep.
And that's what we have to do. We have to listen. And then we have to look. I believe the answer is there somewhere. We can help these guys get out, but we have got to do the research, and we've got to stop fighting with each other. I'm still watching this going on YouTube, and I'm just crazy. I mean, they're wasting so much time fighting with each other, and all of that time should be used in research to help get these guys out of jail, because the answers are there, but they want us divided. That's what all these trolls are doing, so that we won't pull together.
It doesn't make sense, because they're not advancing on any objective.
No. Mm-mm. Calling each other names, and pointing out stuff that's probably going to backfire on them. And, it's just a waste of time. All of that time could have been spent on this internet, using it while it's still available to us, researching out the answers for these people in jail.
Well, and I do think that some of them are infiltrators as well.
Well, yeah, they are. Yeah.
Just trying to keep that stirred up, because I'll tell you what, alternative media, ourselves not included, have been really turning a lot of stuff up.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you're right, Commander Zoe. See, these are all things to think about. Go back over and remember from the first day on just exactly what took place. I mean, when I had to go back, I thought to myself, okay, what they did, they played this really cool, because I'm very sure that there were some infiltrators that were already in there, in that group, before that protest ever took place. And they were already manipulating Ammon Bundy and Blaine Cooper and these guys, and they didn't realize they were being manipulated, and so they thought they were doing a good thing. And that's all they were all about. I really believe all of their hearts are just as pure as driven snow. But they didn't look ahead. They didn't see the big picture of what would happen when they divided from everybody else in that protest. That was your first division.
Yep.
And from there, it was easy to let that snake get in there and divide him the rest of the way. Manipulate him and divide him. That's what they did the whole time.
Yep, I agree.
If that whole group had gone out there all at once and they were in unity, oh man, that would have been good. But no, the government knew that. They had that rigged.
Yep. I'll tell you what, I think they learned a lot from Occupy Wall Street, and I think that's why Occupy Wall Street was allowed to go on for as long as it had, because they were learning a whole lot.
Exactly. Exactly.
I mean, I don't know if you remember or not, but they had these, I know in New York City and like Seattle, some of the bigger cities, they had these they were like boxes that were raised up in the air. And, it was definitely big enough to put several people in, and definitely big enough to have all kinds of equipment. And I think that's what they did. I think they surveilled them all and learned the tactics, and then all of a sudden they started putting in all these different rules about protesting, things you couldn't do or...
Exactly.
Yeah.
They used it as a way to... And if you notice that everything that we think we're going to do, they hear us talking about, or they hear it on YouTube or wherever, and the next couple days later, couple weeks later, is a new law.
Yep.
Stops you right there. But here's what the Bible says. The Bible says that we are to adhere to man's law only if it doesn't supersede God's law.
Yep.
And if it is going against God's law, then you throw out man's law and you obey God's law. And God's law is liberty.
Yep.
God's law is freedom. God's law is love your neighbor as yourself. God's law is unite, not divide. So whenever you see this stuff happening, you do the exact opposite of what the government wants you to do. The black people should be united with us right now. The Chinese, everybody that is an American should be united together right now.
Yep.
But they have done such a good job of dividing. And they did that so that they would have half the power to fight.
Yep, I agree. They've been slicing up this country. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it is.
And they've got it to a point to where the majority of the people think that each and every one of them should have their way, and no other way is acceptable. And that's exactly the opposite of freedom.
That's right. And the last little card they're playing here is the transgenders, the homosexuals, which we've been, not all of us believe that that's a right way to live, but we've been tolerant. But now they're going to try and push us to the final point where they can keep us so angry over the bathroom situation.
Right.
That they can bring in all the immigrants they want, all the enemies they want, and we won't even see it because we're busy fighting over this stupid thing.
Yep. Oh, I agree.
In fact, all you got to do is build one holers, and that solves your problem. Matter of fact, if you wanted to at the schools, I'd go put in some outdoor toilets. Just to show them.
Yeah. It's just unbelievable, And it's funny because, well, it's not really funny, but, they always give two ways. There's no way in between. There's no other option. It's you've got this way and you've got this way. Pick one.
Yeah.
It makes no sense, but that's how they've been engineering the children in school, too.
Yeah. It'll be interesting that when you and I have to stand before God one day, Mike, and he says to me, what did you do, Kathy, to help your country? What did you do to help your family? What did you do to help your people? I want to be able to say to him, I did everything I knew how to do with my health and things the way they are. I would have been in Oregon in a flash. But thank God that God slowed us down a little bit, or Vaughn and I had been driving out there and we'd been in jail too.
Yep.
So, and God slowed it down so that I could use a little common sense here and take a look at things, and it's been a while. Of course, Satan knew that I was going to get in there and take a look at all this stuff, so he gives me one sickness after another sickness after another, and they're serious ones, so I got to take care of them. I can't just say it'll go away tomorrow. And laid me up. Well, but that still didn't stop me. Thank God for iPads. No.
That's priceless.
Yeah, that's the way we have to be. Because when you know that you have that devil backed in a corner, and truth is going to start coming out, and God said everything would be revealed in these days.
Yep.
So when you got him backed in a corner, you keep him in that corner or shove him through the wall, but don't let him come back out at you.
Yep.
And how do you do that? In prayer.
I don't know, and I've been seeing a lot of people that are waking up, and they're petrified. They really are.
Yeah.
I meant to cut an article out, or not an article, but a little section out earlier, and I never did it. I'm gonna have to make myself do it tomorrow. I talked a little bit on the subject, but I really want to spend 20, 30 minutes really going into it about the difference between being awake and being aware, because I think they're two totally different things.
Yeah.
When you are awake, you were doing things. You were physically doing things. You were storing food. You're doing this. You're doing that. When you're aware, you're just saying, oh, yeah, I know about that. But you really haven't done anything to prepare yourself for your loved ones.
Exactly. Yep. Yep, you're right. And when you're just at that aware state, you can be thrown into fear real easy.
Oh, yeah.
If God wakes you up totally, you can't stop doing what you know is right. You have to do it. It's just like, I don't care. I don't care what they do to me. Send me home to the Father. I'm coming back, man. I will be the biggest nightmare Satan ever had. That'll be my mission in life here or life there.
Right. Yeah, I mean, sorry, I was typing a message. Um, yeah, I just hope that, you know, I hope I have it in me. It's strange because before I had the ability, like as in physical ability, but I don't think I was mentally prepared. Now it seems like I'm more mentally prepared, but I've lost my physical ability.
Well, now I can identify with that. Because I tell God all the time, no, God, you know, you got to give me my legs back, give me my feet back, give me my hand back so I can type, and now my eye. You got to get me fixed up here because we got to be ready to go. I might have to throw my leg over a horse, and there won't be no Hoyer left to get me up there.
That would be Jim's luck.
Welcome to Mr. Bell.
Yeah, we have to get ready, and the more that he makes me sick, and I'm talking about Satan, the madder I get, and the stronger I get in my spirit. So now I just need my body to catch up with my spirit.
Yep.
And that's what I pray for every day. Well, get this body fixed, God. We got to do something here. I got a lot more canning to do, and I got some ladies now that are coming in, and some nurses and some people to help me clean, and they now want me to teach them to can this summer and to make their own spices, which I will be happy to do, and then I'm going to teach some of them to make their own healing ointments and things like that, which I'd be glad when Tony's on, he'd teach us a lot of that. So, yeah, we got to be getting ready, and at the same time, we got to be researching and staying up on these things. I know that there's an answer to get these guys out of jail. I know there is.
Oh, yeah. I think it's simply going back to what this country was founded on.
Well, they tried to do that yesterday. I mean, they were within everything that the Constitution talked about. They had discovered another ruling. I can't remember exactly what they called it, something possession. And they were well within their rights when they went into that court. They were loaded. And the court knew it, so the court threw it all out. And by the way, David Fry has been thrown back into solitary confinement because he tried to get a message out.
Oh. Well,
so
I seen something to where it was posted something to the effect of he kind of got into it with a guard over drinks.
Oh, yeah, because he was supposed to have, that's right, he was supposed to have special drink because he's losing weight and so they needed, I suppose, something with protein and whatever in it extra. And he'd been granted this drink, but they didn't give him the drink. So he said something to the guard about it, and they put him in solitary confinement.
I mean, that's insane. Oh, yeah, by the way, it's not called that anymore. You know that, right?
Oh, what's it called now?
It's now called, Obama has changed the name to restrictive housing.
Oh, yeah, restrictive housing. Oh, my goodness.
Oh,
Does
my
have
goodness.
way with words, don't he?
Next it'll be called vacation.
Yeah.
Get in the hole. It's time to go on vacation.
Yeah, for sure. You're right, Commodore. I'm getting a tune-up. Yeah, and I won't have to worry about them teeth all fall out by then, probably. I'll just chew a few more nuts. You know, if you don't laugh at yourself getting old, you go crazy. So I choose to laugh.
I hear you there.
Yeah, this getting old was never. It was a joke. That I think God made it a joke. Because, good grief. It's pretty bad. I don't like this old stuff.
Oh, no, me neither. And I can hear you, by the way.
Yeah.
You ain't old
Yeah.
yet.
Well, I'm pretty sure that my body says I'm 80 or 85 now. And I know I'm only 68, but it's get older by the day. Anyway, it is 10:30, so I'm going to call it a night, folks. And we do not have a guest on Tuesday night, so I am going to take the night off because I do have to run to the cities and get some food for everybody in this building. And nobody has a vehicle big enough to do that but mine, so as long as there's no guest, I'm going to run and do that on Tuesday. And if I get back in time, I'll stop in and say hello.
Okay, sounds
And
good.
then Friday night, we have Peter Kling on.
Okay.
Okay, so God
And then,
bless all of you.
The following week is when, the guy, you can't say his last name. Right? The 24th?
24. Oh, yeah. Pantaleresco, I think is how you say it.
There's been a lot of
Yeah.
people asking about that.
Yeah, he's going to be teaching us about all. I asked him to come on and talk to us about survival medicine, how we make our own, what we need to survive.
That's awesome.
So he's going to teach us that. And then Tom DeWeese will be on Wednesday night, and he is a man who is expert on Agenda 21 and 2030. And he's going to be talking to us about that. And then next Friday, that Friday night will be Colonel John Vernon that'll be on with us. And he is a very saved man who loves God with all his heart. And he's going to be talking to us that night.
Oh, okay.
And then Memorial Day, we're going to do the readings, right? What time do you want to start those?
Whatever time you think.
Why don't we start like about 10 in the morning and then
Okay.
just go till we can't go no more. We don't have people to help.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. And I'm going to talk to Bobby Paul and a few others. And
Cool.
if there's anybody in the chat room that wants to help us that day read the names off of the vets that were killed in Iraq and Afghanistan, contact Mike so he knows you want to do it and what hours you want to do it. And then we'll get that information to you so you're ready for that day. It is a very emotional thing to go through because you just start to look at the ages of these young boys and you just can't believe that you literally, because of lack of knowledge, sacrificed these kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
All because of lack of knowledge.
Yep.
So, okay. Okay, I was just reading. Say, Todd, would you like to read that day with us for an hour or two? Or are you, some of you are going on vacation, I know. Anyway, Todd, that's a question to you. Oh, he's having a conversation. Okay, well, anyway, any of you that want to help us read that day, let us know, and we'll get you the information out there.
Yep.
And I will see all of you then on Friday.
Alrighty, sounds good.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.